Hello friends, followers and channel members. Well, following our night stopover in Boston last night after the live stream where we sadly had to end it a little prematurely following a medical emergency, thankfully my daughter is now fine, we didn't get a chance to check out all of the scenery from FeelThere's latest release, which is here at Boston Airport. Now, this is a great airport for flight simmers because, of course, it being a really busy domestic airport on the east coast of the USA, it's also really the closest airport in terms of time for those of you wanting to cross the Atlantic from Europe. So if you're wanting to do a short transatlantic crossing, if there is such a thing, then Boston is the first airport that many people will choose when departing Europe. It takes roughly around between 6.5–7 hours depending on where you're flying from and wind conditions, of course. So yeah, Boston is a real pull for flight sim enthusiasts, and of course we now have this new version from FeelThere. But how does it compare to FlyTampa's Boston? Well, we know that FlyTampa's Boston scenery is very high fidelity, just like FlyTampa sceneries tend to be, but with all that extra detail, including the internals and the terminal and things like that, then FPS and frame rates, they're going to suffer. So some of the lower end systems may start to struggle, particularly when you start to add in things like VATSIM traffic or FS traffic, any kind of AI traffic, then it could perhaps really start to slow things down. So is this version from FeelThere a viable alternative? Well, I think one of the first things to point out is you are not going to get all of the details and scenery you would expect to see land side. So here you can just see sort of where the cars would come in and the exteriors of the terminal building from land side. You're also not going to get all of the interiors as well. Everything is literally concentrated on the air side, which for many people is absolutely fine because let's face it, that's where you spend your time. You don't spend your time on the insides of the terminals, even though you know it's nice to have them, but it does affect frame rates, so you've got to really think, where would you rather have the performance? That's not to say, however, that this latest version from FeelThere isn't accurate. In fact, it is more accurate than FlyTampa's scenery in a lot of respects, and we can see things like the cargo hub there with all the cargo bins, etc. They're all there and labeled. You can see the different gates, A, B, C, D, etc. So in terms of airside details, there's actually quite a lot going for this scenery. Of course, now let's also not forget one quite important factor, and that is the price. So this new release from FeelThere is around half the price of FlyTampa's Boston scenery. That doesn't mean you get half the details, it just means that some of the more internal areas that you perhaps don't spend a lot of time actually looking at are missing. And this brings up a great little question which I'd love to hear your response to. Leave a comment down below. Would you prefer an airport which is highly detailed, all the internals, animated people, that kind of thing, which you don't actually spend that much time looking at, but is really hard on performance and frame rates? Or would you prefer something a little more like this, where all of the external stuff is done really well, but you know there's no internal stuff going on inside the terminals, but the performance is much better? Leave a comment down below, let me know what you would prefer. Hopefully this short video has given you a good overview of the FeelThere scenery for Boston. Sorry we couldn't show this off last night, but thank you for coming back and watching this, and if you have enjoyed this video, please show your support by hitting that like button before you go. And of course, remember, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos or live streamed content. Thank you for watching, see you all again soon. Bye bye for now.